The time of the 13 heavens and 9 hells has ended, and the trail of tears is before us. Soon, these revelations will befall all mankind into the Age of Awakening. You must awaken or destroy those who worship false gods. The false gods have truly devout followers that will stop at nothing to do their demon's will.
Hello and welcome back again to the Revelations 2012 Let's Play. This time we're on the 11th level of the game, Ball Court. I see no courts and no balls, we're not off to a great start here. Anyway, we're on the third campaign of the game now, the very final campaign. And as such the difficulty is beginning to ramp up quite significantly, you'll see this as we go onwards. See, unlike in Left 4 Dead, where the campaigns are basically even in terms of difficulty regardless of which one they are, be it the 5th or the 1st, Revelations 2012's campaigns do actually increment in difficulty as you progress. Although the concept of difficulty to Revelations 2012 is just to include more numbers of the harder enemies rather than actually making any sort of significant changes to the level layouts and what have you. They just place a few more vixens around, a few more armoured warboars, and that's your lot basically. The way difficulty works in this game in general makes me very sad. It's either a hilarious breeze or frustratingly difficult, even on easy. The enemies are rather consistently dropping haste power-ups for me though, which is quite convenient because it means I can expedite the process of getting through this boring section. And look at that, solid wall of just pipe blower enemies. It's really boring and annoying, especially considering they still slow you down even if you have a haste power-up on. And here's a bridge with holes in it specifically designed to catch out the person who doesn't look down. They're not that hard to see really, but still, I fell down that hole once when I wasn't paying attention, and that means this trap is shit. So saith the modern gamer. Anyway, here's something that I've not really explained so far. The reason why the game volume is so very low in comparison to the sound of my voice is not because I'm narcissistic or anything, it's just the fact that the game has basically no music, like none at all. The entire experience is just punctuated by the sounds of the Mayans screaming in your face and the annoying pew 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 noise that your guns make, so I prefer to turn it down because repetitive sound effects like that really start grating on your ears after a while. I mean, Left 4 Dead punctuates key events like a horde spawning with a kind of musical cue, and there's always some kind of ambient noise going on. Revelations 2012 just lacks that completely. I know there's a couple of songs, but they're not played that prominently, and nor are they that good either, really. But yeah, sounds low because there really isn't any. And here we can see the AI wasting all of its time warp ammo because they have no sense of ammo conservation. And they're also doing a fine job of blocking my view with the gun because for some reason the time warp gun uses an extremely obnoxious particle effect that's very wide and disorienting and horrible. Ah, haste power-up dropped here. That's very convenient actually for this trap. Haste helps a lot with it. Just clear out the last of these enemies. And a vixen wandering across, then we'll grab this haste power-up. You can see the enemies are chucking spears clean across the thing. That's the rub of this trap. They're like pools of sand that appear every so often, and they pull you towards them, which is quite hard to demonstrate visually, but it is happening. They kind of have a gravity. And if you get stuck in the middle, you can't move, and then you'll just get pelted with flaming spears, and you'll take a lot of damage quickly and die, basically. So haste, so you can just run straight across it, is very useful. It's quite a lucky drop to get there. Actually, now that I think about it, that area we just ran straight across is probably the eponymous ball court of this level. Which is weird, because I think we've actually encountered a ball court previously. It was in the Path of Trials level, I believe. It was explicitly stated that they used that court to play ball games with. So instead we have a different ball court that's like 5 times as wide, and oh, I don't care. I don't get it. It's not consistent, is what I'm getting at here. Ah, it's not important. We'll grab the first skull, trigger that enemy encounter, and run in here to continue the level. And here there's time warp ammo. That's pretty rare, honestly, and there's a lot of it to go around. They really want you to use that time warp gun. And here's another trap that I'm just kind of gaily ignoring here. The sharp discs that jut up from the ground and try and saw you to deal damage, they can be quite easily jumped over. They're not very tall, honestly, and not that hard to avoid. Just don't stand on the lines. It's a fairly basic trap. All of the traps are fairly basic, honestly. I don't think advanced is really in this game's vocabulary. And we took the second skull, and this has triggered another enemy encounter. The pathway forward at this point isn't strictly obvious, I don't think. More haste power-ups, those are quite useful. Makes me go quick. And loads of vixens. Yeah, enemy spawning enemies are fun, right? No, they're not. Anyway, what you have to do here is you have to shoot this very conspicuous wall. See, unlike other interactive objects in this game, which are stated in the very first level with a tutorial tooltip thing, they glow yellow when you can interact with them by shooting them, and this is even the case for Left 4 Dead. But for some reason that wall doesn't glow or have any seeming significance at all. In fact, there are a lot of holes in the walls in that area, but you can't walk through them, they're blocked by an invisible wall. Only enemies can come through there, they're designated enemy spawn points, but for some reason that one wall can both be blasted open and is the pathway to continue forward with the level. That's completely unintuitive level design. What the fuck is wrong with you people? And yes, at this point I am just kind of Dance Revelationsing my way past most of the enemy encounters in this game. If there's not like a wall of enemies between me and point B where I want to be, there's no reason to stop and take care of all the enemies, it's just pointless wasting of time otherwise. Right now we're heading to the other side of the ball court, and observant viewers may have noticed that the ending skull is actually right back where we started, but just on a previously inaccessible ledge, just slightly too high. That's what we're going around to get. Anyway, up here, on the other side of the ball court, is the familiar demonoid spawners. They're not that big of a problem, and I don't think it's mandatory to destroy them either here, they're just inconvenient. Anything that spawns enemies is inconvenient in a video game, really, especially considering that they do it in this game at such a disquieting pace. Extra specially observant viewers have also probably noticed that the spawners have more health now. We are on the third campaign after all, it only gets harder from here on out. And down here we'll pick up the third and final skull, sitting just out of reach at the beginning of the ball court area. And we'll head in here. This is where the ending of the level is, inside this building. The two sides of the ball court aren't completely symmetrical. Anyway, this room here, if you can get past the game briefly stuttering there for a moment, behind this room is something very special, something I've not shown off so far in this LP. Right there, a glyph, a poorly drawn one, and getting these things earns you an achievement, finding it. And there is one of those in each campaign. But wait, one in each campaign, I hear you shout accusedly at your computer screens. Why haven't you shown off the ones in the other two campaigns then? And, the answer to that is that I don't know where they are. No one does. This game is very poorly documented. If anyone knows where, drop me a line. Anyway, this episode is over. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.